A battle at the Capitol over the future of education in Texas.
They deserve more opportunities to have a high quality education.
The student leaves a public school, uses an ESA to go to a private school. There's data that's indisputable that shows the performance declines.
Lawmakers push forward with plans for education savings accounts. What's shaping the debate this time around? Near misses between planes at a Texas airport. Now lawmakers in Washington are stepping in. What Congress wants to do to keep you safe in the skies. And we give you a rare look inside an undercover sting targeting emissions testing fraud. Why one Texas county now refuses to look over some inspections.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. Texas lawmakers started their fourth special session Tuesday and made quick progress on some of Governor Abbott's top priorities. House lawmakers held a marathon hearing on a bill to put billions into public schools, while also establishing Abbott's priority of education savings accounts. The proposal calls for ESAs of $10,500 to go toward private school for some families. Supporters say that will help more Texas students succeed.
They deserve more opportunities to have a high quality education. That's not to say that public school options are bad, but it's to say that we need more opportunities.
Opponents of the plan say public schools would be hurt by ESAs, emphasizing that public schools provide opportunities to all students without turning some kids away.
Fund our public schools so that teacher can help teach those second and third graders and not have to worry about it. And then let's debate the ESA issue on its own merits. Don't, I keep using the term hostage, but we're using public school funding as a hostage.
The hearing lasted more than 12 hours. In the end, committee members voted to send the bill to the full House for a vote. The Senate passed their version of the ESA bill late Thursday night. Senators gave short advance notice of their public hearing, providing little opportunity for public comment. The Senate also passed SB 4, which creates a state crime for crossing the border illegally. That debate brought surprising opposition from State Senator Brian Birdwell. He's the Republican who carried the legislation in the last special session. Birdwell said he thinks the new version of the bill by Lubbock Senator Charles Perry is unconstitutional.
We are setting a terrible precedent for the future by invalidating our obedience and faithfulness to our Constitution. President Biden's failure to obey his oath does not compel us to violate ours.
Senator Perry acknowledged Birdwell's concerns, but he said passing the bill would help keep Texans safe.
While I agree we are testing and pushing envelopes, the state has every right to protect its citizens, and this nation has every right to expect Texas to do that when called to do it.
The bill now heads to the House for consideration. Things are moving quickly at the Capitol. We want to bring in our team to dig deeper into the key developments. Capitol correspondents Monica Madden and Ryan Chandler join us now. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Ryan, we'll start with you with SB 4. Why is this bill so novel?
Well, it really intentionally tries to push the limits of state authority. It essentially tries to prosecute a federal crime with state law, which is something that the Supreme Court has been very clear about is solely the responsibility of the federal government. But now the state is creating a brand new crime for being in Texas illegally, which can be prosecuted over and above any other crime. You can be prosecuted just simply for being here, even if you have committed no other crime at all. And a lot of migrant advocates are worried that this is going to open Texas up to a lot of legal liability here. They argue that it's unconstitutional for a variety of reasons. One, immigration is under the purview of the federal government. Two, this could lead to profiling people who just look like they may be here illegally. And then three, it would subject people to this crime retroactively. Maybe they came here illegally years ago, but now that's a crime. So we spoke to Governor Abbott today, and he said that he already expects the Biden administration to push back on this law.
Monica, last week we were talking about a stalemate on education savings accounts. Now the bill is headed for a House vote. How significant is that?
I mean, it is in the sense that this is the furthest that House Bill 1 has gotten. As we saw during the third special session, it never even made it to the committee itself because behind the scenes lawmakers were working on the details of the bills, trying to put together a package that they could possibly get more of the opponents on. Now, it passed on Friday morning early in committee on a partisan party line vote 10-4, and it set us up for our first up or down vote on ESAs in the House. Opponents were quick to point out, though, that even though we are finally getting to this point, the advancement in committee is not necessarily an endorsement of everything that is in this omnibus package completely, but rather that they want to force a vote on this issue to see where lawmakers stand on ESAs and this education omnibus bill as it looks right now.
Is there any sign of compromise for ESAs and public school funding?
Right now, it's not really looking like it. This is the most generous package so far in terms of the changes that were made in this fourth special session to try and act as almost concessions to the people who are against it. It includes billions of dollars for public schools, teacher pay raises, school safety, increasing the basic allotment. Now, the governor said that he is in support of House Bill 1 and thought it was an outstanding bill. However, opponents still think that he is kind of holding public school funding, quote unquote, hostage, and those public school advocates say they cannot be bought with tying the two together. So we'll see how this turns out when it gets to the floor.
Ryan, the Senate really got some criticism for the speed at which they put some of these bills through. What does that really mean for all of this?
Well, look, it's November. We were supposed to go home in May, so everybody is antsy to get out of the building, and the Senate has always bent the rules to act as efficiently for the majority as possible. But what they did this week raised a lot of eyebrows when they called a literal last-minute hearing, met to pass out SB 1, their version of the Education Savings Accounts bill. There really was no debate at all. They met around a podium, rubber-stamped the bill, asked if there was anybody from the public who would like to speak on the bill. Of course there was not, because it was literally announced minutes beforehand. And then they ended up passing the bill that night. It's not a transparent look, that's for sure.
And things change over time, so maybe like the 6th special session or the 7th special session or something.
Or the 8th.
Yeah, we'll see.
We did hear the word December come out of Governor Abbott's mouth
February.
today. Yeah.
If possible, so if needed.
88.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right, thank you both. Inside an undercover sting operation, the target, fake emissions inspections, how law enforcement is fighting back. And 2 close calls at Austin's airport highlighting staffing challenges at air traffic control towers.
We need to have an adequate number of air traffic controllers. We need state-of-the-art technology.
Why the training process is under the spotlight.